8. Things you need to know about Apple's iPhone 7. Camera. Other camera improvements include a new flash with 4 LEDs rather than 2 for greater brightness. As with previous models, the flash will adjust its color to match ambient light. High-end photographers can get images in RAW format, which allows for more versatile editing, matching what many leading cameras now have. The iPhone 7 Plus will have 2 lenses to boost the zoom capabilities of the camera. The camera can now zoom in twice as much without losing sharpness. Both cameras take 12-megapixel photos. The 2 lenses will also sense depth and allow users to blur backgrounds in images, mimicking an effect that typically requires changing the lens aperture in standalone cameras. That feature won't be out until later this year. New-ish design. The new iPhone fleet will be accessible in 5 vivacious colors: rose gold, gold, jet black, matte black, and silver. Aside from just color, a slight overhaul of the antenna band placement has redefined the lesser complaints of the iPhones of old and provided a sleeker wraparound designed to hide the antenna bands. Slowly chipping away at critiques of older models, Apple has begun overhauling the phone to keep updated with current technology and allow for a hurdle forward to overhaul models to come. The new iPhones will hit stores September 16th, but will be available for pre-order September 9th. They will retail at $649 for the standard 32GB iPhone 7 and $769 for the iPhone 7 Plus. IT's waterproof. Many previous versions of iPhones have been dropped into a toilet, pint glass or swimming pool. The good news is that this would not destroy the iPhone 7. That is because it is the very first waterproof Apple phone. The iPhone 7 will shrug off spills and even survive a dunking if you have an accident. The waterproof seals will keep the delicate inside bits safe from moisture, so you won't get caught short in the rain either. Dust won't be a problem too. The whole thing is sealed, and the IP67 rating means there aren't really any holes for sand and grit to hide in. The headphone jack hits the road. The iPhone 7 doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone socket. That's a big deal, and likely to upset a fair few people, even if Apple was thoughtful enough to include a Lightning-TO-3.5mm adapter. Don't want to lug an adapter around with you everywhere? Better pick up some Bluetooth buds, or buy a set of Lightning cable headphones. Lucky Apple's got a pair of its own, then. AirPods are wireless in-ears that'll rock for 5 hours on a single charge, but look a bit like a pair of rabbit ears. The obvious question is, why remove the jack at all? Turns out, having a great big hole in your phone isn't great for when you're trying to keep water out. Goodbye storage wars. It's official, Apple has addressed this dreaded yet all too familiar photo. How? Simple, more storage. The old models offered 16GB as the base for any phone. Apple has since removed the 16GB option and started the base model at a 32GB storage package, as well as a 128GB option, all the way up to a whopping 256GB. With more storage capacity, maybe you won't need to buy that Apple Care protection, which previously only helped you when you threw your phone across the room out of frustration, because the cannot take photo warning kept challenging you to do so. Okay, well maybe you should still get Apple Care, but hopefully you won't be using it because you suddenly felt adequate for the shot put after watching the Rio Olympics, and realized your crappy old iPhone could double as a javelin. iOS 10. The latest software update, available on Tuesday, will add more intelligence to Apple services like Maps, Photos, the iPhone keyboard and Siri, the voice-activated digital assistant. There's a new Home app to control appliances. In a big change for Apple, the company is also opening Siri and its message service to work with apps created by independent developers. Apple is also allowing developers to build apps for iMessage, although the options so far appear to mostly involve sending payments or ordering food. It's also adding bigger emoji and other visual effects for iMessage, including what it calls invisible ink. which blurs an image in a message until a recipient swipes a finger across the screen. Apple announced many of the features in June. The Home button. The Home button is the most used on the device, but it will no longer actually be a physical button, instead using haptic feedback to feel like there's movement. It might take some getting used to. iT's had a battery boost. Apple never reveals the exact size of its iPhone batteries, and this year is no different. Unsurprisingly though, we're promised the best iPhone battery life ever. This is of course rather vague, but a figure of 2 hours longer than the 6S and 6S Plus was mentioned. We are definitely going to have to wait for our full review to see if Apple's selling us the true picture. But with more efficient processors, we wouldn't be surprised to see this claim come true.